took a Tylenol about an hour ago, so on top of that, Aleve I took last night. Got like one, so.
Pre-gabbling finally kicked in, and I'm like,
yeah.
got a mow the grass today too, along with a few other things. Yeah, there's crap in the air. Just didn't realize it.
Okay. There's always something in the air.
Yeah, it sure seems like it.
Between them farming and there's probably still some smoke from out west fires.
Yeah. Something like that. Go, 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 guys. This is automatic. You wipe your card to get in, and then if you touch anything, it wipes it again.
Oh, is that the place that does that?
Yeah, I don't
I thought that was on North Hill.
I'm absolutely against it.
That's different.
I'm hoping it fails.
Well, I don't know. A lot of places it works real well. I'm just thinking when you go in there with kids.
Well, yeah, yeah.
What happens when the kids start yanking, grabbing things?
Well, it's not.
Does it charge daddy, or is it just what?
Well, if I pick up a Pringles and then I decide I want to try something else,
It has. There's so many cameras and sensors and stuff. They said the moment you put it back, it doesn't. It removes the charge.
I don't know if I believe that whatsoever. And if it doesn't, what do you do?
That's why they still have people in there.
Yeah. So it just an awful lot of money.
Mainly the people in there just because the
restock.
The tobacco behind the glass.
Oh, but you have to actually check them.
Yeah, they still have to open that up. But before you leave though, it pumps up all the items you have in your cart on a thingy before you get the receipt. So.
What if you just put it down and say no?
Well, I don't know.
I'm against it totally.
Well, then don't go there.
That's right, I won't.
It's fine.
But I don't want to be on a long trip and get stuck someplace in some turnpike or something.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if you don't have a card.
Then you got a problem.
All you have is cash.
I don't know how it works.
Some of those people only have cash.
Well, that was a way in a couple of those McDonald's during the end of the COVID thing. Where
yeah, all they would do is cash. Oh no, all they would do is cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we're a cashless store because we don't trust our employees. Mm-hmm. Well, that and also then they can't give you the extra fees.
And some accountant or
because if you use your card, we can give you more fees, even though we don't have to pay those fees to anybody else. But we can take those fees.
The tax, the dine in and the dine out taxes. I couldn't believe that when we were over at council.
Yeah, I was surprised. Dine in and dine out. I'm like, I'm picking up stuff.
Well, you burned me one way, now you're going to burn me another way. Well, thank you. Why do I want to come back here?
None. So if you eat in, you have to pay tax.
Yep.
If you eat out, you have to pay tax, but you still have to pay the dine-in tax.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
basically, the city council figures.
It's a lot of it's for the managers could get more money.
Well, the city council approved it for shaking down people that are passing
tourists.
Through. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That is right.
Well, that's good. That people will remember that, and then people will remember that, and then they'll just bypass that city.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, at that time, it had a place we needed to go, so and that place is closed now. So
Wonder why.
I don't know. But there was a time when they would travel to the Hamfest and everything else, but the hassles they got and everything from like the customs folks. Not trying to make me enjoy this or try to work with them. They used to go to
it's a lot easier now to just get one of these coolers that plugs in like to your DC thing or something, and then you go down to like Walmart or Hugo's or one of these places and get your sandwiches with meat and just make your sandwiches with meat.
Yeah.
Put them in the cooler and then you don't have to stop anywhere.
Yeah.
Instead of a bathroom or something.
Well, everything was cheaper
Next you watch there's a P in and P out tax. It's the same tax as we did before, but
well, they had.
Also, it's a P out tax. I can pee on your building, right?
No.
You watch, they'll do some kind of weird tax like that. You're going to use our facilities. I guess.
There's Ralph and Bob.
Yeah.
And then $19.4 for 13.
Yeah.
That might be the smart way to do it, and I kind of think that it is, but I don't know. 3 months for 5? Of course, then what do you get after that? You have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Vegas roulette here. Only we won't make something. The question is how much. Yeah, Milo was saying when it was with the Legion stuff, when times where the interest rates were really, really low, you're only getting 1% as a CD.
Yeah.
And you're getting fractional percentages on your savings account. So I need to chat with him. I don't know if Mama wants to give me the authority to screw it up all by myself so she doesn't have to go.
Huh?
Whether your mom wants me to just go in there and do it, or
Probably, unless they need her there.
I don't think so. I think I can do it just on my say-so, but I want to ask them some questions. And I'm assuming today the interest is still the same as it was Monday.
I assume so.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had their board meeting yet. So.
Yeah. Well, if they drop it 2 points or 2 quarters, that's a half.
Well,
then that would bring it down to what it would be You're
Everybody's
4.5.
hoping that, because if they don't bring it down,
It's
it's gonna cause more problems for the economy.
Yes, it is.
And their next meeting, I don't think it's until like November or December.
Yeah, well, see, that's when the next rate is.
Yeah.
You're 5% to now till
Yeah, so
November.
November, December, one of the meetings.
Yeah. So you can get 5.0 from now.
So if they don't drop it now, and then they don't drop it again in November, then there have been absolutely no jumps down this whole year, which they claimed they were going to do at the beginning of the year.
That's when you wanted to go 5.0 for as long as you could.
Yes. I think, well, even if you go 5.0 for as long as you can, even if they drop the rates, you're still going to be locked at that 5%.
But only for 3 months.
Well, yes.
And then the other one is 7 months, and you're 4 3/4.
Yeah.
And that's going to take you past the election, good,
Yeah.
bad, or other.
Yeah.
So, like, see, let me think about this for a minute. September, October, November. November would be right after the election. You get 5.0 up to that point.
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. It's scary stuff.
Well, even if they drop it a quarter of a point, it's not going to be a huge difference.
Well, we don't know how that's going to exactly fit on the CDs. They're going to.
Yeah.
They're going to.
Go.
I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I wish I could put something in, like something, but I really can't.
We're trying to do it to protect the money
Yeah,
that we
I know.
have. And right now, since our money has gone back, I
Yeah.
won't get into any details, but
I know.
the IRA has its own things we're looking at
Yeah.
too.
I don't think my door's shut all the way.
I think they're down 12 or more police officers in town, something like that. That's what they said. They're giving them a police cadet program. I said,
Yeah.
you couldn't have hired me when I got out of the Air Force.
Well, probably it was maybe a good idea that didn't happen, actually.
I'm glad it didn't. No,
Yeah.
it was better to do the other stuff and get depressurized and
Yeah. And you gotta watch what they gotta go through and do nowadays.
no, it's
No.
not like the old days.
Well, even the old days weren't. I don't know.
Security police was a much better deal.
Yeah, but you rarely had any big.
Other than the war zones.
Well, yes, but I mean, other than that, no.
Unless we
You're
never killed
generally
domestic
pretty
disturbances.
safe. Yeah.
Mostly, there was still people.
Yeah.
We lost people,
Well, yeah.
but not at the rate.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a peace officer these days.
Oh God, the risk is so high now.
Yeah, the stress and risk.
Oh yeah.
So,
It's like you go back and watch some of the videos of the New York or San Francisco or some of them in the 70s. Well, they had cops that were on beats.
yes.
They don't do that no more.
Well, and it used to be crime.
Well, I mean,
was a
they
lot
might do
lower.
it in New York, but I mean,
Crime was a lot lower.
yeah. Well, the cop would have interactions with the public,
and they would tell the cop.
they'd walk into all the businesses
Yep.
and talk to the people.
Yep,
and
yep.
It was
Talk to the
generally a
kids,
good
yep.
time.
Yes.
And the cop wasn't there trying to arrest every lost person on the
Didn't
street.
worry about little stuff.
Yeah,
Big
no, he
stuff
was okay, if
stuff only.
if it was and even if it wasn't I watched some old videos of New York cops in the 70s and then the early 80s and stuff when they were still walking beats on the street and stuff, and I mean, I'm sure it was hard to walk all these miles that we had to do,
Well, it
but
kept you in shape.
yeah. And they were showing them in California, and they were showing them some in Chicago and stuff and stuff.
Yep.
And for the most part, the cops didn't really care all that badly about the little crimes.
Nope.
It's like the most they would do is like
Tell you not
they'd
to.
get just like, well, there's an ordinance against you smoking pot here or smoking this here,
or they would give you a written warning.
Yeah.
So there was a paper trail in
Yeah.
case you did 50
Yeah, or something,
things, then they would have to have a different chat with you.
Well, yeah, but he says, for the most part, seeing what's going on today, talking to the shop owners,
Yeah.
and one guy said he did a 25-year career as a cop,
Yeah.
from the 60s to the early 90s, and he says, I came in as a off the book cop out of the academy, and he says, And I watched whatever guy from China or something started his family business at this location.
Yeah.
And I had this whole route. I had this route and one other route my entire career. And when I retired, Mr. whatever his name is from China was shutting down his business and retiring himself. It's like, yeah, I've gone into your store almost every day in my patrol, my entire 25 years.
Yep.
Into your store, and it says, now I'm here, I'm retiring, and here you are retiring.
Yeah. It's a serious change.
Really, just like they become really good friends over the years.
Well, yeah, but they maintained order.
Yeah.
And they kept things stable and safe.
Yeah.
And rarely, well, I talked to some that said they never once pulled their weapon, and I went, oh.
Never.
Unlike me,
never pulled their weapon.
Unlike me, which it was out of my holster more than, I was.
Yeah.
Mine was out of my holster a lot.
But the one guy says it's like entire career in New York City, and from 1988 till 2010.
Yeah.
He only pulled his weapon once, other than the gun range. He says, I only pulled my weapon one time, and that's when some guy in 1994 pulled a knife on another person over $20.
Yeah.
He said that's the only time I ever pulled my weapon. He said I pulled it, I cocked back because I had 357 Magnum.
Yeah.
I cocked back the round and aimed it 2 inches from his head.
Yeah.
And I said, drop the knife or you're not going to have a head.
Yeah.
And he dropped the knife and says, I put my gun away and cuffed him.
Well,
he says, in my entire career, I never pulled it for any, and he says, I kept the same service 357 Magnum the whole time when everybody else went to 9mm or 45 or whatever.
Very effective weapon.
Yeah, I just kept the same 357 Magnum. I started my patrol in my career one, and
Well, when I first became a cop and I was at Fallon, I don't remember.
He said, I never even had to pepper spray anybody or draw my nightstick on anybody. Well, he said the most he ever did with some people that were kind of a little crazy. He says he'd point at the badge and then he put his hand on his butt of his gun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The lean on the gun is always part of that.
No, he said he just tapped his gun. He said he tapped his badge. He tapped his gun.
Well, we used to lean on the gun.
And they said most of the time that was enough to get people to stop doing whatever they were doing.
If you reached down and put your hand on your weapon, and just didn't take it out of the holster, but your hand on your weapon.
Yeah.
But okay, Fallon, I don't know if I ever pulled it at all. When I got down to the Mekong Delta, it was out of my holster a lot.
Yeah.
Smugglers were probably the worst of it.
Yeah.
Bad hombres, but smugglers. But when I went to outposts out in the jungle, shotgun and rifle were in the back of the bumper, and I got the nightstick in one hand and a revolver.
Well, yeah, but you're in a war zone though too. But it's a different thing, It's a different
law south of the Mekong.
Yes, it was also a war though.
It was supposed to be a law enforcement troop, right?
Yes. And there's a little thing called the war going on.
Yeah, yeah. And with the 16 and the 60.
Yeah.
12 gauge.
But it's funny. I heard some people that were saying they were security police forces in Iraq, and the entire time they were in Iraq, they never pulled their weapon on anybody.
Stuff happens.
And he says, and we did convoys all the time. Yeah. Never pulled my gun on anybody.
When I was in Germany, I pulled it on a number of people. Yeah. Clear was out of my holster several times for real. Just about shot.
Now, granted, he was in a convoy most of the time. He didn't pull his weapon on anybody because they had
50 cal.
Because they had the 50 cal on the top. I don't think my 7mm. Or my 357 Magnum. He said he had a 454 Coswell.
Yeah.
Because he didn't believe that 9mm was good enough.
Well, yeah. Anyhow.
Because he didn't believe in the Beretta.
So when I was in Nevada, I pulled my weapon lots of times. And at Grand Forks, I did as well. F.E. Warren, my weapon was out.
Well, Matt, that one guy who was in the security forces, I was telling him, You know that weapon that Arnold Schwarzenegger uses in a lot of his movies? It's a 50 caliber.
Smith & Wesson.
Yeah, it's a big 50.
Yeah,
It's a big 50 with a huge ass front on the gun. And it says, now that's the gun you need out there because it's
too big.
He says, no. He says, I actually got that on your recommendation. I actually put that in my holster. He says I had my 9mm service one on my side.
Yeah.
He says I put that in my right holster. He says I drew that gun out one time and the Iraqi guys looked at that damn gun and just like their jaws just dropped.
It's not a 9mm, man.
No, it's gonna put a big hole in you. It's gonna might only have 10 shots, but it's gonna put a big hole in you.
Yep.
I was like, damn.